So why do we actually judge a book by its cover? Hey, my name is Joris, and in today's episode we're going to take a look at why we actually judge a book by its cover. Because face it, we all do it. Doesn't matter if we're authors or readers, we all judge a book by its cover. It's a saying for a reason, of course. But why do we do that? Well, the main reason why we do that is because we are animals of habit. And what I mean with that is to just give me an example of that. So let's say you loved the Harry Potter books, right? So Harry Potter has like 7 books, of course, and you are so invested in Harry Potter, in that world, and you really wanna, you don't want to say goodbye, right? So as soon as you finish the 7th book, then you often probably will try to find books similar to that particular book, particular genre, and you know that it won't be actually about Hogwarts and about Harry Potter, but you do like to dive a little bit more in a similar type world. So then often what happens is if you go to a bookstore or to Amazon or a different online store, you often will try to find covers that is similar to, in this case, the Harry Potter books. And that is one of the reasons why all the copycats out there sold a lot of books because they were based on like Harry Potter type covers or type stories. It was actually a neat little marketing trick back in the day. But of course, this is just one example of Harry Potter. There are like a series of other books out there who are doing very, very well. So the reason why we judge a book by its cover is because, yeah, we just want to continue with a world that we actually love. Another reason why we judge a book by its cover Another reason why we judge a book by its cover is because the feeling that it gives us. So let's say you pick up a book, or maybe you've heard a good story about a book from your friends and family, so maybe they have told you the blurb, and you got really excited by that blurb. And you try to find that book on Amazon, and when I finally found it, you'll see that the cover doesn't really look that professional. Or worse, it's like a gray space with just some text over it, and it just doesn't attract you. Then often what happens is, although you are a little bit invested in the blurb and you're actually excited about the book with the blurb, this new cover design that you're seeing now actually takes that interest a little bit off. Now, what happens if you're still are so interesting enough about a blurb and you still would get that book? Then what often happens, and maybe you recognize yourself on this, that if you have that book eventually in your bookshelf back home, it's a little bit a harder thing to actually pick it up and actually open up and start reading, because you're not that attracted to the cover. On the other hand, if you actually are very attracted to the blurb, so the story, but also to the cover, you really like the cover, you like the look and feel of it, you like the colors, you like the title, then you're more inclined to pick it up and open it up. Especially if you have like a busy day or a busy week, if the cover attracts you more, you will just pick it up a little bit more. It's the same thing with dating. In generally, I mean, if you are dating with somebody that you really, really like, so you like his heart, you like his soul, you like his character, but he's also very, very good looking, that helps, right? I mean, you are more attracted to him, so you will invest more time into this potential relationship. On the other hand, if you are on a date with somebody and he has a good heart, he has a good soul, but you're just not that attracted to him, be honest. Would you then call him back? Or maybe if you do, like go on 1 or 2 dates, but be honest, eventually they will basically drip off, right? At least that's for how most of these relationships works. So a little bit same with books. So judging a book by its cover, we all do that. And it's so vital that you understand this as an author, as a publisher, to make sure that your book cover looks amazing. But in generally, a book cover only has 2 jobs. It needs to look professional, thus it needs to attract the right people. and it needs to look on brand or on genre. So by the first glance of that book, you know what type of genre it is, what type of world you will get into when you actually pick this book up. Those are actually the two components of a good cover design. What's actually on this, and I know I've been telling you guys this a lot of times in similar podcasts and similar videos that we were doing, what's actually on the video itself, or the cover itself, doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter if the color of the hair of the main character is blonde, while in the book it maybe is black, for instance. Now, if you can change this, of course, it's better to match it as much as possible. But in general, it doesn't really matter for the reader because they will have that book anyway. So as long as the cover looks professional and it looks genre, you're good to go. Now you can create your own covers, of course. You can go to Canva, and maybe you're a little bit handy with stock images. You can do that yourself. But my advice is always, if you're not really sure what you're doing, it's often a better idea to invest a little bit of money to actually get a good cover designer to work on your book. Because that designer often has a lot of experience. They can do some research for you in terms of genre and create one or more mock-ups, like cover design ideas, for you guys to riff off and actually find and create a cover design or actually sell your book and copies in the long run. Because often if you create your own cover design, and you see this often, if you go to Amazon and you like the blurb, but then you take a look at the cover and it doesn't attract you, often those covers are created by the author themselves or a very bad cover designer. And it's hurtful for that author or for that publisher, because especially in the long run, you won't sell any copies. Yeah, of course, like the first week, maybe even first month, if you have like a lot of friends and family and maybe, I don't know, some like a big group of people in general, they will get your book no matter what, no matter how the cover looks like. But to attract like new readers every week, every month, every year, your cover needs to be on point. So if you're not sure what you're doing, just go with a cover designer and work with them. So in the long run, it is a small investment, but you will earn that back relatively fast if you get a good cover design. All right, so that was all for today's podcast, and I'll see you in the next one.